I've learned a lot about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not good things either.
Husbands, you shouldn't be above learning from your wife.
Yeah, I expect daily communication. Like, I thought that was normal. Hey guys, hope you're good, hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel. So, got my husband here. And we've decided we're going to do a video basically just having a bit of a chit chat about 2 years of marriage. Basically having a chit chat about what we've learned after 2 years of marriage.
Yep.
So you'd say we're still kind of newlyweds, as in 2 years is not long in the grand scheme of like long marriages. So as newlyweds, we're just going to talk about what we've learned. Hope no one cries.
No, but this is what your audience wanted.
Yeah, in my last vlog, I gave a snippet of Keith and I talking during our marriage course, and some people said they want to see more of that. So here we are.
Here we are, open, vulnerable, and ready to share our lives with the internet.
So Keith.
No, I'll ask you, actually.
Okay.
What have you learned in the last 2 years of marriage?
What have I learned? I've learned a lot about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not good things either, I'll be honest. But I'm a critical person anyway. So like, there might be good things that I've just ignored.
Okay.
So yeah, I've learned that I am somewhat selfish, not in a malicious way, but just I think about my own feelings, or like my feelings are enough for me to just, they're not even, my feelings are so much for me to handle that I can't even take on anyone else's. Yeah, so I've learned that I'm quite selfish, which is a hard pill to swallow. I've learned that. I've learned that you like to communicate more than me, which is weird because I remember when we first started dating, it was me saying, I want you to communicate with me more. Remember?
I remember. I think I went, I don't know how many days it was, where I didn't message or call you or something like that. Yeah. It's like really, maybe in like the first week or 2 weeks or whatever.
Was it?
Yeah, it was super early on. And then she messaged me saying, how come you haven't spoken to me?
Did I send you a long message? Yeah,
it wasn't a long message.
I think when we were dating, I was like, yeah, I expect daily communication. Like, I thought that was normal.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay. But you did it, which is good. You did it.
Yeah. And it's not something that I was opposed to.
I just wasn't aware.
Yeah, I just wasn't aware.
I've equally, as much as I've learned I'm selfish, I've learned that you're quite selfless. I've learned, on the communication thing, you like to talk a lot. And I thought you could say I'm the talkative one in the relationship. So it's funny that you like to talk more than me. No, not talk. You like to communicate more than me.
Yeah.
Like every single part of our lives, he wants to talk about. And I never really thought about that, but I'm finding that difficult.
Why are you finding it difficult?
Because everything, like, we should talk about. Do you know what it is? I think it's probably been heightened now that we are in lockdown. So I'm with you all the time. We, so like, I, for example, don't like talk to Keith about my work. Like, I don't finish the day and be like, oh, so this is what happened at work. And other people do that. And I feel like you would like that.
Yeah.
I noticed it more when we're around my sister.
What?
No, I noticed that they talk about they'll talk about, like, Gabriel knows Anna's whole 9 to 5, and Anna knows Gabriel's whole 9 to 5.
Gabriel knows Anna's
colleagues,
bosses.
They know their
schedule.
names, they know like the meetings that they're having, and I'm just like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
I've not asked you.
To be fair, I do know your colleagues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But if I asked you, like, what am I working on right now, would you know?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not so much to be what they call busybody, or just details to know. But the way I look at us is, well, when we got married, we're one, right? So it means everything that we do, we're now one. So if your job is on the line, it means my job is on the line. You get what I mean? That. If my job is on the line, your job is on the line. But not only for that, but also just for support. Do you know what I mean? Because although I may not be able to say, okay, do this. Well, I mean, no, in a sense I can, because we both work in marketing, but I might not know the ins and out of a campaign that you're running and stuff, but general life advice, or maybe you should speak to your colleague like this, or maybe you should speak to the person you're managing like that, or have you checked in with this, or have you asked your manager for that? It's more of those type of things when it comes to work, really. But I think with everything talking about life generally, it's just the same viewpoint. Like, I see us as like that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
I get that. And I do too, but maybe I don't, but maybe I do. Like, I do. Do you know what it is? I think I don't like hard conversations.
Yeah.
And my definition of hard, the bar is low. For me, hard is anything that's not just chit chat. It's like a hard or deep conversation or heavy conversation. So things like work, it's past 6. I actually don't want to talk about work. Like, I don't want you to help me problem solve. So I want to problem solve between 9 and 6, and I don't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Same with like just anything.
Yeah, but then
I know it's bad.
Yeah.
I know.
No, I was gonna say, but if you, okay, no.
No, go on.
No, I was gonna say, if you don't want to problem solve from 6 to when you go to bed, but then 9 and 6, how do we problem solve with something that's going, like, you get what I mean?
No, yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
My point is, I just don't. It's hard. I just didn't realize this. Marriage lesson number 1 is hard.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest revelation.
It's a big mirror.
Yeah, because the first year I feel like our marriage was easy, and I was like, what are people talking? Obviously, I know every marriage is different, but I was thinking like, this is easy. Like, I'm having a really good first year. And then I feel like our second year, or I'd say like the last 6 months of the second year,
the honeymoon period,
since lockdown. Actually,
no, it's not because of lockdown. No.
I'm trying to frame the time. Maybe just the second year of marriage, for me, has been very hard.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I would say marriage is hard because you're faced with like tough conversations, and sometimes it's not even between us. Like, there's this whole year, like, forgetting all the stuff that's happened in the world, people we know, just stuff that's going on, that the people within our reach. Like, if you had told me this stuff would have been happening, I'd be like, nah. So there's tough conversations that you need to have together about tough things, and tough conversations between us and about how we have to go forward. So yeah, marriage is tough, and it's not one of those things that you can just you're hearing your mouth. It's not one of those things that you can just like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep and just tomorrow's a new day. Like, that thing is just it's gonna face you when you wake up. Do you get what I mean? You can't not afford. No, so you can't afford not to speak about them. Not talking to you. I'm just talking genuinely. And I think for me, it's been hard because I am the confrontational one in this marriage, but not confrontational. Well, no, I'm confrontational, but not in the sense of like, it's like, if something happens, I'm like, okay, we have to make sure this thing doesn't happen again. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I struggle with that because you can confrontation all night. Yeah. And I'm just like...
Yeah. Which isn't necessarily good either. So I'm learning to, be, okay, just... Now's not the time.
Or, might I add, I feel like we need to learn how to disagree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say we. I mean you. Well, both of us, but I think we need to come to a way of disagreeing, because in my opinion, you if I disagree with you, you want to talk and talk and talk until what I think is you want me to agree with you. That's when the conversation will be over. Is when I say, okay, I hear you.
No,
but most times I hear you, I just disagree.
Yeah. But how I perceive it is, it's not maybe I have got the lines blurred, but for me, it's not so much. Okay, she doesn't agree with me. So, because sometimes I feel like, I don't communicate as well. You know what I mean? So I don't. I'm a man of few words, but when I speak, sometimes I feel like, okay, maybe what I'm saying isn't actually coming across the way it's supposed to actually come across. Not that I say anything problematic, but
I get you.
I might be very long-winded. So I reiterate the point to be like, do you understand? But then I'm like, when she doesn't understand, I'm like, okay, is that I can see how you see it as me not agreeing, but then at the same time, I have to check myself and be like, is it because do I want her to agree or what's going on? So that's something that I'm working on. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, yeah. I perceive it as, I don't know, sometimes, I get the feeling that I know what's going on in your head. You swear up and down that that's not what's going on in your head. And then I'm like, I don't know, like sometimes I'm like, I think you're in the wrong because I think this is maybe a pride thing, or I think you're trying to get me to agree, or I think whatever. And then if I say that or allude to it, you're like, no. And you're very good at articulating why. You're good at articulating your point. So you're good at making your case. If you want to make a good lawyer.
I was planning to be a lawyer at one time.
Yeah. So like, I think you're good at winning arguments. If it's a win-lose, it's not a win-lose, but you're good at winning arguments. And sometimes I'm like, nah, but I know that I know that there's like some pride in there. Or I know that you're not going to let me disagree type thing. Or whatever it might be. But you are so good at fighting your case that I'm like, well, I can't argue with that, can I? But I don't know. But I feel bad sometimes because I'm like, am I judging you? Am I misjudging you?
Are you judging me based on how you would be if you were me?
No, I'm not. I'm like reading you almost. But then I most times when I make a judgment of you and you swear it's wrong, then I think I just know it. I don't. But the thing is, I can't tell you why I know. But I feel like just from knowing you.
I think when I'm wrong, I come back and be like, hey, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's not even a wrong thing though. Sometimes it's just
like I may have got a situation. I may have read the situation wrong and been like, actually, you know what? Let's do it that way, or let's do it. So maybe it is me actually just,
Maybe, yeah. I can't. I can't read you. Sorry, I can read you, but also there's sometimes where like I don't know. You're complex.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You're complex.
What Adella says is that she thinks I'll say yes to this thing and then no to that thing.
And you actually say no to that thing and
yes to the other thing.
Like most people have, I feel like most people have like a route of how they get like, if this happens and then this happens and then this happens, Adella will be angry. Or if this happens and then this happens, Adella will be sad. Like, you know me. Do you know what I mean? So you know, no, that will make Adella upset. No, that will whatever. Or this will make Adella happy. I don't know that with you. It's like, okay. Based on my experience last time, this plus this equals this. And then the same thing happens and he's like upset. And I'm like, wait, but you said that this plus this equals this. And you're like, no, that's because last time you carried the one and this equals this. But this time, situation, I'm like...
That makes me sound like I'm all over the place.
No, you're not. No, in your head, it makes sense. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. This is not a real example, but let's say like if I put the milk... God.
No, that's right.
If I put the milk on the top shelf next to the butter, Keith doesn't like that. I'm just making this up. So I'm like, okay, next time I won't put the milk on the top shelf next to the butter. Next time I put milk in the middle shelf next to the cheese.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah. And I'm like, but last time you said don't put the milk on the top shelf next to the butter. And you're like, that's because last time when you put the milk on the top shelf next to the butter, there was bread on top of it. This time, if there's no bread, do you know what I mean? Like your brain is intricate. And I'm just like, I don't know the rules.
Yeah. I personally, it's not rules. Well,
not rules, but I don't know. I don't know.
I personally, I try to live, a Christ-like life. It's not really about me. It's about like what we structure our life on, if you know what I mean. So I think that's my approach to not just marriage, but just general stuff. So where you might think, oh, Keith would get upset if somebody cussed him or whatever. Do you get what I mean? I generally won't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, no, not really. But if it was somebody cussed you, would I actually be upset? No. But then it's like, okay, but if they then went on to do something else, then it would be, no, well, actually, now you're putting someone in harm. Do you get what I mean?
Comment below if you understood that, and if you,
No, but
comment below. No, Jake.
No. As in, like I try not to. It's not that I try to remove emotion away from just generally looking at stuff, and I think I've learned to be more in touch with my emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not just through marriage, through, I guess, just the revelation of Christ and stuff. Yeah, okay. If you want to attribute it to marriage, then fair enough. But it's just more of, okay, like what is the Christ-like example in this bit? And some things the Bible tells you to do. Some things the Bible doesn't tell you to do. It tells you how your character and how you should act, how you should speak should be on a particular thing. Do you get what I mean? Oh, for example, that time when you came and you put the shoes. Do you remember? I can't even. What was it? It was something about.
I didn't put your shoes back or something.
Yeah, Adella was looking for her shoes. Yeah, and she took the shoes and then she my shoes were in her bit by accident, and we just she took it and then she put it away, but in like a disgruntled manner. So I saw it and I was like, hey.
I can't remember.
You can't remember?
I don't have a good memory. That's another revelation.
So I was like, hey, why did you put the shoes over there? And then she was like, it shouldn't be in this place. So I was saying, okay, cool. I'll put it away. But like what? It wasn't so much her moving the shoes. It was the mannerism in the way that she moved the shoes, if that makes sense. So then my challenge to her wasn't necessarily about the shoes. It was more about the characteristics in the way that you did it. So we had a conversation around that. So that's the way that I approach things. It's not so much the action that can be duplicated in multiple scenarios. It's more of how was your heart position towards those particular things. So then I was saying to her, no, you should actually put the shoes. I had no problem putting the shoes back. If she didn't do it, I would have done it. But I was saying to her, you should put the shoes back here, not because I'm telling you to do it, but you need to recognize the way in which you handle that situation and to rectify that.
On that, another thing I've learned is that we should add some positives at the end of the
Yeah, we should add some positives. Yeah.
We will. Another thing I've learned.
But these are the things that people don't tell you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I've learned that I don't necessarily afford you the same grace that I desire from you. Do you agree? I do think there's a bit of a double standard.
Say that loud. No, I'm joking.
There might be a bit of a double standard in my expectations for myself and for you.
Yeah. Why is that?
So now you know. It's because I think I don't know. I'm emotional. I'll tell you that. Tell you that for free. I'm emotional. You're not. It's not a bad thing. It's just you are more black and white, and I'm a bit more grey.
Yeah.
And I act on emotion sometimes. You don't necessarily allow grace for that. No, sorry, you don't have a tolerance for that as what I've learned.
Or acting out of emotion.
Yeah. Or you don't have a tolerance for anything that's wrong, basically. Like, you don't... Like, if someone, for example, like, not lost their temper, but was short, not with me, but just in general, I would be like, oh, let's look at what happened. Like, why did they lose their cool a bit? What was the circumstances? Keith's just like, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So he's very much like, does the Bible say that this is wrong and then it's wrong? Whereas I'm just like, yeah, but like, you really upset me. And he's like, that doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't act. Basically, there's no...
And I get it.
It's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think you've taught me, or you're teaching me, or you... And I've got it up here. Maybe I didn't act it out, but you've taught me that, like, emotions aren't everything. But I've taught you that emotions are important.
Yeah, emotion. I know that. I think
you know that, but I feel like I've
taught you a bit. No, you have. When I said I know that, it's not that like I knew that irrespective of you. I think I know that as in like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I do know that, and it's something that I have to remember. Not only with Adella, but just generally. But I guess day to day, it's actually outworked with Adella the most, because me and my friends, we're very similar.
You're
No, yeah. So
you're not, but you've spent so much time together that you become.
Yeah. We've like, in a sense, it's iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Well, Proverbs 27:7. So iron sharpens iron. Like, we've molded each other, not to how we want to see each other, but by being around each other through Christ, we've built each other in a certain way. So we have a particular way of viewing things. 4 out of 5 of those guys, including myself, are... In fact, no, all of us really, to an extent, are like, right is right, wrong is wrong.
Who are you excluding?
I was going to exclude Harry, but I was thinking...
Really?
No, Harry, yeah. I was like, yeah, no, Harry. So we're all strict in a sense, but I think what I've learned with Adella is where I will still be like, hey, you shouldn't have acted this way, even though this thing happened. Now I'm like, okay, cool. Why did this happen? Let's talk about that. And then I will say, well, still, you shouldn't be whatever. I think I've learned through marriage that even though I may not understand how Adella feels in some situations emotionally, or I understand how she feels emotionally, but in the sense of why you acting in this manner towards a particular thing, I've learned that even if she feels it, it's valid. So we need to address why she's feeling that way. And then we talk about, okay, well, now let's work on this thing together. Yeah.
But to answer your question about why do I feel like I don't afford you the same grace I afford myself, I think it's emotions. I think it's because...
I'm listening. Yeah.
I think it's because I act out of emotion, but equally, if you were to act the way I act to you, my emotions would be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason.
Yeah.
Should we say some good things?
Wait, I'll add a bit to that. Yeah. Because I feel that, and I think this is maybe just the husband role that God, Christ, has given us as us husbands, is that we're supposed to we're supposed to lay our lives down for our wives. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? So
love us like Christ loved the church.
Yeah, so I'm supposed to be in marriage anyway. It should be happening either way. You're irrespective of how Adella acts, I need to act in a Christ-like manner towards her. So even when it's a double standard, it doesn't stop me from doing what I'm supposed to actually be doing as a husband. I can point out the fact that we may not receive the same type of treatment in a particular manner, but that's because if I've now grown in knowing Adella over the last 2 years as a married man, I can't unlearn those things, and now I have to apply those things to the way that Christ teaches me to act. So if I was to act in a way that wasn't Christ-like, specific to you, then I wouldn't be fulfilling my role as a husband.
You do treat me well.
Yeah, I know I do.
You spoil me a bit, but that's okay. Not a bad thing. Okay, something good that you've learned about yourself or each other.
Something good that we learned about myself or each other.
Let's start with you. Good things about you, and we go back and forth. So talk about yourself.
Good things about me.
Yeah, that you've learned in marriage.
I think about others.
Yeah.
Outside of myself.
I was gonna say selfless, but yeah, same thing.
Mm.
You are not above correction.
Yeah,
so you're very humble, and you're very open to like even not. Yeah. You're not above correction, and you're open to. You're not stubborn, even though you are, but you're not. You are, but you're not.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
What else?
About me. Mm-hmm. This is weird for me because I don't really talk about myself.
Yeah.
About me. I don't know.
I don't know if it applies to marriage, but you're good with people. Very, very good with people. So that makes it easy for me because, like, you're good with my family and friends and stuff. Don't have to worry. Just leave you. Yeah. Yeah.
I think...
you're a good leader as well.
Oh, I was going to say driven. Like, I have the vision for us.
Yeah.
But maybe,
Yeah, you're driven, definitely.
Julie? Yeah. Well, you have to go first then.
Oh. I think I create a peaceful place.
That's true. That was I think one of the first things I said to Adella. I was like, I don't want a house where there's like drama and not drama.
You said that to me.
It was like a conversation. Well, I didn't use the word drama. I'm not saying that drama doesn't happen within marriage, but I don't want a house that I come home or I'm anxious about coming home.
That's really. I don't remember you said that, but that's always been a thing for me because for the most part, when I was growing up, home has always just been a place where I'm like, I want to go home. As in, if I've had a stressful day or whatever, home is like your safe place and your peaceful place and sanctuary. So I was always big on like, okay, yeah, we'll get back to build a home together. I want to make sure I am making sure that this place is a peaceful place. Like we can have fun. You can come home and rest and relax. And I'm not, do you know what I mean? But also for when we have kids, I definitely want that to apply to them as well. I don't want them to be out in the streets anxious to come home. I want home to be
like your space.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean? Yeah.
I never understood the concept of like people not wanting to go home. Obviously, I grew up and realized not all homes are good places.
Yep.
But,
yeah.
Grateful.
What? I haven't said anything about you.
No, you haven't.
No, because you were talking about yourself. Something that's good about Adella. Let me just pull out my long book about whatever. No, something that's good about Adella is that she is caring. She says that she's selfish, which is true, but obviously not in a bad way.
Yeah, we get it.
But she is caring. I think once she does clock on, she's like, okay, cool. How do I make peace now come to this environment, if that makes sense? I think that in seeking peace, you help others seek peace as well. And that, like, I don't think any one of your friends was I can't speak for them, but from what I imagine, like, whenever you guys are on the phone or something like that, it's always like a joyous type of thing. And I think that you do bring that type of energy. It especially comes out when what? No. Words of affirmation is love.
Yeah, love it.
It especially comes out when you're with your sister. So that obviously speaks to the household that you grew up in as well.
Yeah.
Like as you can see in her latest vlog, when they're together, they're doing stuff, going crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It is hard. Yeah, I think I am talented and smart.
Yes.
And I feel
very creative.
Yeah, I think that adds to our long-term vision.
Yeah.
I'm good at it. When I have the energy to when I have the energy to talk about it and execute it, I think I'm good at it.
Adella, she said it the other day. She said that I'm good at the long-term plan. which she has long-term plans, she adds to as well. But where she shines is like, okay, and here are the next steps. Strategy, if you know what I mean. So I'm learning a lot from her in that in that respect, which is good. You shouldn't husbands, you shouldn't be above learning from your wife. And I say that because I know it's a cultural thing.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, generally,
pride type thing.
Pride thing. Oh, like I can't. Who's she to say? Oh, I should do this. Or
Mm-hmm.
But I learned a lot from Adella, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't realize that, and then I'll hear you on the phone to someone, and you'll be like, Adella said.
Yeah. Well, actually, Adella said.
I'm like, oh, he listened to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like you are smart. You're very creative. You have a find a way attitude sometimes. Sometimes. But yeah, but we're gonna get out of this rat race. Don't worry. We have a plan.
Yeah.
3 years.
Mm-hmm. My boss. I'm joking.
No, I'm joking. I'll scrub that.
Yeah. Overall, glad I married you. No regrets. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah.
Not you, but marriage.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that if you're like in a relationship, or you're married, or you're going to be married, or you're even going through a tough time in marriage, I think you just need to be open to the other person that you're in a marriage with or relationship with, and just communicate. And yeah, go for it.
And it's good to remember that you're not against me.
Yeah, you're working together.
As in, even when you annoy me or I'm upset with you, I have to really think, come on, Adella, he's not out here trying to make you cry. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I know you love me, and I know you're for me, and ultimately you want the best for me. So I should kind of have that lens every time.
Yeah.
I feel a way about you.
Because it can be very easy to sit in hurt and just be like, this person this, or my parents that, or my brother this, or my sister that. When sometimes if you just take a step back, away from yourself, away from the situation, and just be like, okay, why is this person saying that? Do you know what I mean? Because I think if it's like random people who are saying stuff, you take things with a pinch of salt. But then when a multitude of people are saying stuff, then you have to be like, okay, what they're saying is quite salty. Not salty in a bad way, but it has like a flavor to it, so you need to address it. But when you start to lessen, when the people saying stuff get less and less and less, i.e. your partner, your spouse, your immediate circle, your family, those grains of salt or those pinch of salts are actually quite big. So you have to take what this person's saying.
Holds weight.
It holds weight to it. So you can't just be like, oh, they're trying to hurt me. Like you have to take that on. You have to acknowledge what they're saying, and even if it is wrong, you have to be open to being like, okay, cool, let's actually talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's not something that is only exclusive for marriage. It's something that marriage has taught me, that helps me when I go into other conversations. Like marriage is like the most intimate relationship you will have ever. So if you're able to do that in this case, you'll be able to do that in other cases as well.
Also set rules for your marriage. Like there's no rules in terms of like doing it how other people do it. But like if you find, okay, we resolve conflict best when we do it like this, or when we go for a walk, or when we're in public, or it's not 10 p.m, for example, just set some rules based off of what you know to be both of your strengths and weaknesses and stuff.
Yeah. We're still learning.
Yeah, we're only 2 years in, honestly. This is not even us. Obviously, we can give advice based on our experience, but like, I imagine we haven't even hit some of the hardest years.
What does Belief says? He says, we are not the example, but we are part of the proof that when you're committed to working on a marriage and working on a relationship together, it will flourish. Like we are not the married couple. I don't think there will ever be the married couple.
I don't want anyone to.
But
I don't want that title.
We've only been married 2 years. Exactly. We don't even try and take that type of thing. But I think
I don't think we ever can.
No, you can't. But you have to be. I think people need to be willing to do more things like this and share not only the great stuff like 5 tips to stay good with your partner, not that type of stuff, but actually the real life conversations. These things that we've spoken about are things that we speak about actively and have addressed. So it's it's marriage is fun. It
is really, really good, and it's really, really fun.
It's really fun.
It's also hard.
I
think with anything,
a
friendship would probably be just as hard if it was as, well, obviously friendships are not as
as intimate
as this, but
yeah. So guys, that's what we've learned. Well, part of what we've learned. I think there's probably a lot more. In 2 years of marriage. If you want to see more stuff like this, let us know. If you have any questions for us, then we can sit here. Maybe this can be our talking spot. Our talking spot where we just speak to you guys directly. Let me know your thoughts on this below, and subscribe if you are not already. And see you next. See you in the next video. Bye, guys. Someone's at the door. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're good. Back. Hope you're good. Huh? Oh. Do that. Ready? I'm ready. You're gonna hold on to that bottle. It might make noise tonight. But like. What's that? My popcorn? Yeah. Where's your water?